And welcome back, dear listeners, to what promises to be another exhilarating episode of the Vacuous Perspective. I am Val, and I'm joined always by the enigmatic maestro of musings, the virtuoso of viewpoints, and the paradoxical paragon of pondering, Nate.
They also call me the Big Fish.
The Big Fish. They call you that as well.
One. Yeah, my wife calls me the Big Fish.
Yeah, what is this? Is this to do with your affinity for water? Perhaps do you swim like a fish?
It is referencing all the swimming that I'm trying to do.
The fish.
Yeah, the Big Fish. It's not just any fish, the Big Fish, and the pure size me. Like, look at the size me.
Yes.
You even said that you were maximizing me or something before.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also kind of ties
Playing
into
it,
how large I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite large.
Reel you in with a rod and reel. That would be a fucking nightmare.
Well, since I've been swimming, I'm on 84 kilos now. I run it around. My running weight's around 78.
Yeah, right. So you're packing on some swimming muscles.
Yeah, that or just fat or whatever. I'm just absorbing the ocean or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I am the Big Fish. So, and all that other stuff you said was fantastic about me. Thank you very much. I don't have any intro for you.
Yeah, I was worried that was going to be the case. So I got ChatGPT to write that up for me real quick, right?
It did sound a little bit ChatGPT-ish.
GPT, yeah.
I always get it wrong. What did I say?
GTPG. I don't know.
Fuck, it's like the LGBTQ. Yeah, there's some letters. What does GPT even stand for?
I have no idea. I was wondering the same thing earlier today. I had no idea.
Do you know? I don't think you will know this, but ChatGPT in French sounds like cat poo or something like that. Like if you say ChatGPT, people think that you're saying cat poo or something like that.
Great. Didn't know that. It's good to know, though. You've got to be worried about this stuff. You want to know what the G stands for. We want to know what the P stands for. What does the T stand for?
Oh, sorry. It phonetically translates to cat I farted.
Oh, great. But what does it actually mean? Should we find that out as well while we're at it?
Yeah, actually, that's probably more useful.
Well, the French thing's just a funny little side note, but we would like to figure out what that is at the very least.
Okay, generative pre-trained transformer.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, GPT makes more sense than generative pre-trained transformer.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds fancy though.
Does.
Yeah. I was also thinking of a name change as well. I mean, Vacuous Perspective hasn't gotten us too far.
Gotcha. Want to change it up? Yeah.
I was thinking the voluptuous perspective.
Right. Okay, what are we doing there?
We're just big, like you're sort of like the Big Fish thing again.
Right, the big perspective.
Yeah, but we're voluptuous.
Can we promise that? Because one of the things that we're particularly good at is being quite vacuous. In fact, the ChatGPT thing went a little deeper than I was willing to go in saying that it said, we're your guides through the twists and turns of our chaotic conversational journey. Which I think is accurate again. It's doing us justice again. I gave it nothing to work with. I told him the name of the podcast. It's an intro. I told him who it was with, Val and Nate, and I wrote and add some descriptive words for Nate. That's why it came up with the enigmatic maestro of musings, the virtuoso of viewpoints. Jeez, I can't even read it. And the paradoxical paragon of pondering. And now that's a pretty hecker's intro for yourself. Like, are you gonna? I'd worry if that was my intro. I'd be thinking, Jesus Christ, what kind of perspectives do I have today?
I was feeling the pressure.
Well, what have I been musing lately?
And it used alliteration, which was nice. I don't know if it intended to do that, or you obviously didn't instruct it to do that.
Didn't instruct it to do it, but I just thought it would be the nicest way to present it, I guess. And I like how it took into account that it was the only information it has that it's a podcast and it's called The Vacuous Perspective. So the things the descriptive words for you were very relevant to that. They weren't just, I mean, it'd be amazing if it said, he's a big fish. That would be amazing.
That would freak me out a little bit, yeah.
That would freak you out a little bit,
If it said his wife calls him the big fish, you'd just be like, whoa, is this thing listening to me?
Yeah. And soon they will, right? Because I did ask it as well, what's its future? I want to know what it thought its future was. So I did sort of ask it. I sort of prefaced it by asking the question, does ChatGPT make life too easy? Right? That was a question I had for it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that's a good question. It rounded out some positive impacts, some ethical considerations, some challenges. One of the best of the positive side, it just says efficiency. ChatGPT can be a valuable tool for gathering information and ideas, drafting content, right? Accessibility. Obviously, it's very accessible. So that's two positive impacts. The challenges, which I completely agree with. Number one, dependency. Over-reliance on ChatGPT for decision-making, problem-solving may lead to a lack of critical thinking and creativity. Okay, so completely agree with that. Number two, isolation. If people increasingly rely on AI for social interactions, it may lead to reduced face-to-face and human connections. So do you agree with that?
I do. I think that's the future. That's not now. Like ChatGPT, I don't find so enthralling that I can't get off it. I ask it about 2 questions and then I leave it.
Sure. You don't want to bother it too much.
But it is. I mean, people always say this about
Google.
Because soon ChatGPT will be undetectable by the system. So if you submit something electronically, I understand the system. At the moment, the tech systems can detect if something's created by ChatGPT and you'll be punished for it as a student.
Correct.
I understand that very soon we will not be able to do that.
You won't be able to tell.
You won't be able to tell. And so now someone was saying to me the other day, this is a huge problem because people are just going to use all the time and who knows, you have to go back to sitting exams physically rather than submitting them electronically, which probably isn't a bad thing.
Sure.
But again, it's just a great tool. It needs to be used as a tool in moderation. That's the rather, that goes to the
how Google
point.
ruined a lot of party conversations because people would just say, "Oh, Google that." And then we find out right then and there instead of like having a chat. Google was in the same way that I'm saying, is ChatGPT too easy? It's the same for Google. In the early stages of Google, people were just Googling, I don't know, favorite cat names and stuff like that. It obviously is a gateway to any information. So it's going to be the same. We're just at the early adoption phase of this ChatGPT thing, the AI thing.
Geez, it came on quick though.
It's going to get really crazy. When you think forward 10, 20 years, it's going to get really wild.
Oh, isn't everything? I mean, we're heading towards 2024. Every year when you tick over into the new one, it sounds futuristic. It always sounds weird.
Does it?
Takes about a month to get used to.
I agree, but I also think about, because I subject myself to a lot of Australian politics, so I'm aware of things that take 6 to 7 years to do, 10 years to do. And when I think 10 years from now, I'm thinking 2033, right?
Yeah.
And that world where we just get that thing done, whatever it is, takes 10 years, that's just been done. It's not like the rest of the world has, it's not like the rest of Australia has flying cars and the Jetsons,
Yeah.
So I don't know, 2033 sounds pretty close to me. That doesn't sound that futuristic, but maybe it will be.
We talk about a lot of things in the future as well on this podcast as well. So maybe you feel like, I don't know, I don't know if we're more cognizant of the future than other people. I don't know. So I asked ChatGPT, what should we talk about on the Vacuous Perspective podcast?
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure it's got great ideas.
It's got fantastic ideas.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's have the first one.
They're broad.
Of course.
Okay, the nature of reality.
Great. I think we've done this before, but yes, it's a great start.
The future of technology.
Yeah. Sort of
There's a little blurb. There's a couple of sentences about each of these. So I'm not going to get into it unless we want to. Existential questions.
Okay. Can we have an example of that? Is that the why are we here one? That's a good one. Yeah, we need elaboration on pretty much all points, and that should see us through to the end of the episode. If we were to dig deep into this ChatGPT post, just go real hard on it, it's probably an hour and a half's worth of chatter in there.
You'd hope so, because the next one, I'll just run through the rest of them. There's 10 of them. It's given us 10 options.
Oh, no. It's 10.
Space and the cosmos.
Yep.
Perfect. The absurdity of life.
Great.
I think we deal with that. Mind-bending thought experiments.
Okay.
The concept of time.
Jesus.
They're big questions.
They're
Cultural
big.
perspectives.
They're so big. Yes.
Cultural perspectives on reality.
Wow.
The unexplained and supernatural.
Oh, cool.
Human connection in the digital age. Tick that off.
Done that already, have we?
Done that.
Yep, great.
And the classic existential question is, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah, wow. It's a very human thing to want to assign meaning to it. I mean, does the ant or the fly wonder about the meaning of life? Hasn't got enough time? No.
I don't think so. I don't know what they think. When they get that app that you're talking about creating, when you get around to it.
When I get around to it.
Yeah,
you ask these big questions, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't do my homework. We were talking about contacting John Williams.
Oh, shit.
The famous film. What's his name? He's a
composer.
Composer.
He's a what do you call it when it's for a movie?
We should know because we actually talked about it.
I know we talked about it at length.
Conductor, composer.
Yeah.
He's a film. Anyway, we were going to contact him so he could do something for the show. I didn't get around to it. I mean, he did send me an email, but I didn't get a chance to respond. I'm too busy.
That's okay. I'm sure he's still, or I'm sure he'll be keen.
I was too busy watching peak League of Legends.
Oh, okay. Wait. So we're up to semi-finals now.
Just had the semis on the weekend. And I can look. It's been a day now, so I don't think anyone listens to us anyway. And no one's going to be. There's no spoilers.
You worried about spoiling it?
No, I don't give a fuck about spoiling it. Faker is in finals.
Oh my god,
he's made it again. It's been 7 years. Yeah, he's back.
How?
He's 10 years into his career plus. 10 years plus. He must be maybe 12.
He must be the oldest bloke out there. No, I think there's a bloke who's just older than him.
I think there is one. Yeah, I don't know if he's still kicking around.
No, he is. Well, I don't know if he's still in the tournament. Yeah. But he's kicking around.
I'll have to get his age up shortly. But look,
29.
29. Okay,
yeah, I mean, it'd be 29.
That's unheard of. That is ridiculous.
Wild. Is it? Why is that ridiculous?
I don't know. There's something about being young and having faster reactions. All your faculties are working properly. Like I'm just so far gone. I never had any faculties to begin with.
Right. You peaked in your League of Legends maybe 10 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, but I was horrible. I was just a feeder. I didn't even know what it meant. I had to ask. People were like accusing me of feeding. And I was like,
that was my
what?
first game. Yeah, that was my first game ever. I fed, but I didn't know what that was. And someone said, bro, stop feeding. And I asked them what feeding was. And they said they got really concerned because I didn't know.
How are you supposed to learn?
By feeding, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's fed before. I'm sure Faker's fed.
Yeah, he would have really early. Yeah.
But this is truly peak League of Legends. Like I was telling the wife that I was in for a real treat because on Sunday it was SKT and JDG. JDG are a Chinese team and statistically the best team in a year that's ever been.
Wow. So a shoo-it.
Well, they were tournament favourites because they were trying to achieve what no team has ever done. It's called the Golden Road. It's basically a grand slam of League of Legends.
Okay, great. So what does that mean? You win the regionals, you win the nationals.
You win your spring regional, the mid-season invitational, which is the only international tournament other than Worlds.
Wow, okay.
And then you win the summer regional.
Yep.
And then you
back it up and you win the whole thing.
And then you win the whole thing.
Wowzers.
So JDG,
and no one's ever done it, but they've already got a name for it.
No one's done it. Yeah, no one's done it. G2 got close a few years ago. They lost at Worlds. I think they lost in Worlds finals as well, I think.
Brutal. It happens.
Check that. It happens. And it was really, really good. We're talking, it was absolute madness. You know how they just start going, I don't know what they're on. They start pushing the game to its limits. We're talking level 1, 5v5 at Raptors, multiple kills. They're going all in on the Raptors, trying to get level 2 so they get an extra ability, can neck all the other ones. I don't know what was going on.
What do you mean? It was just an early invade, right?
No, but they spot each other and they're like, yeah, we're going down. We're going all the way on these Raptors. Like, you're not getting these Raptors. They bring the top lane down. Everyone's there.
Yeah, you're wondering how this makes any sense. Why would they do this?
Yeah, I'm like, back off. Give them the Raptors.
Wow.
So Faker, they won 3-1, and JDG and SKT had both won a game. So they're in the third game, and it was an absolute barn burner. It was about 25, 30 minutes in. It was actually 30 minutes in, now that I'm thinking about it. And SKT are looking, JDG have the Baron. Mm-hmm. SKT have got their backs up against the wall.
Yep.
And then Faker just does it. He gets in behind him. He predicts the flash. He does this big Azir shuffle, the Shurima shuffle, or whatever they call it.
Yep.
And he just pops the ADC into the team. They ace him. They go straight down the middle, take the Nexus. That's it.
Wild. And I did ask Chat-Geeps about why League of Legends players retire young, I called it. And here are the factors. So this is probably going to answer a lot of your questions.
Oh, great.
That we had earlier. Number one, intense training and schedule. Right. So you're not putting in the hours anymore. We're not putting in the hours to be professionals.
No,
easy.
Yeah, that's
rigorous training regime, which can be mentally and physically demanding. Sounds like sitting on a computer to me, but sounds like the pressure is crazy.
Oh, when you do it 20 hours a day, yeah.
Yeah. Number two, and this is the big one, I think, short peak performance window. This is what you were saying.
Yeah, okay.
Crucial mechanics for maintaining, well, you have to maintain the same level of skills and reflexes. So how do you do that?
Well, Faker's a robot, I reckon. That's my theory.
Yep.
Yep.
Number three, injuries. While not as common as in traditional sports, esports players can suffer from repetitive strain injuries, RSI, or other physical ailments. So you're in a good sport if you can get RSI, right, as the worst thing that happens, right?
That's true. You're not dealing with head knocks.
Mm-hmm. They're not punching on.
Yeah, no broken limbs.
I have seen that chess boxing stuff. Have you seen that?
No.
They play chess for a minute or so, and then they have to box.
This is another Kajitsu situation.
It's a bit more. I think a lot of streamers do it.
So wait, you play chess for a minute, then box for a minute, or
yeah, and then you go back to the chess game, and if you knock them out in the boxing round, you win, and if you beat them in the chess, you win. So you want to beat them up a bit, and then get them to make a mistake on the chessboard.
It's an interesting combination, isn't it?
It's a weird combination because if you're training to be a fighter, generally speaking, you don't need to know the game of chess. And if you're playing chess, you're not expecting to get punched in the head while you're playing chess. So they've got that down. I assume they do it for charity in the same way that they do those the corporate boxing events. Same thing.
Yeah, I got into watching time chess on YouTube. You know, you both get 5 minutes.
Yeah, have you seen the ones where like the best player in the world, who's that Magnus guy?
Yeah,
Magnus Carlsen?
Yes.
He rocks up to a game like with 20 seconds to go and wins. Like his time is going down because his chair is just empty. So his time is going down. Other guys' time is not going down. He's still got 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
However much minutes it is for a game. And he just rocks up. I don't know if he's got like a pie in his hands or something, but he's got his jacket in his hand and some food. This is how I remember it anyway. This is probably nothing like what happened. But he's just chomping down and just sits down and demolishes this guy. It's pretty wild.
Because once you get down into the late stages and you both don't have much time, they're making the move in a fraction of a second. And slamming because the timer's always running off someone's clock. So once you make the move, you hit the timer and it starts running off their clock.
Yeah.
I had no idea chess did that. I thought chess was you have as long as you want within reason to make the move.
I think that's just how people play generally, but this is like the professionals. So this is how the pros play.
Well, it's far more watchable.
Oh, it's great.
Because when you sit down, the game's going to last 10 minutes.
Imagine if they just punch on every now and then. How good would that be?
Well, I could just watch boxing, though, if I really wanted to.
No, you want the combo. I
reckon as you lose chess pieces, you should be restrained in your ability to do things. So if you lose your castle, you have to tie your left arm behind your back.
Okay, what for the boxing?
Yeah, for the boxing.
Oh, shit.
Because you need a disadvantage now. As you lose pieces, that should translate into the boxing side of it.
Isn't it a good equalizer, though? You could just get him, punch on with the other guy, smash him out. You're like, I'm getting smashed in the chest here. I need to go for the knockout.
Just focus on the boxing.
Your pieces are just like in full defensive mode. You're not moving forward at all. You're just sort of moving your bishop back and forward because you're like, no, I'm getting fucked here. You just know the game's turned. You got to go knock him out.
I don't know if there's many chest injuries. I mean, they could get some kind of wrist
RSI.
injury.
Yeah, something like that.
Nike got on board with the, I think it was Royal Never Give Up, a Chinese team. They got on board and started doing fitness reviews and giving them exercise regimes and other health and well-being things to improve. And they started dominating. And then all the teams now have started adopting that, which is really good.
Yeah, that is good. Why is it good?
Oh, because players are going to have longer careers and they're going to be mentally, they're not going to be as
drained.
Drained. Yeah.
Okay.
But Faker is the GOAT for a number of reasons.
Yes.
And this is the biggest reason is his longevity. So he has 3 titles, as many as the next. I think Bengi has 3 titles, who was also a SKT. I think he was a jungler that played with Faker.
Is he still kicking around, is he?
No, he's not.
Okay, he's got 3 titles.
Yeah, so the SKT is a completely new team now from what Faker did with his – he won 3 titles, not all back-to-back. There was 1 year they had off. They didn't win, but 3 of 4 years they won. And they've got a new program now where all the players that play for T1 they've come through the development system that they have. And so they've bred these players and they're very committed to the team. Because Faker got offered a lot of money to go to Chinese teams early in his career, and he stayed on because he wanted to represent South Korea.
That's great.
And at a South Korean team, and he
stopped playing competitively for a while. Did some streaming and stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I do know he took a bit of time off.
But how do you come back? I mean, wild.
Yeah, because they're so dialed in, these players, and they're so young and keen and hungry. Whereas he's managed to maintain his hunger. He is actually the Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT of League of Legends, unquestionably, absolutely unquestionably. So it's fascinating watching him play and seeing him make it back. And he dominated as well. Dominated.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like
imagine being on the team though. You're a young kid. You know Faker. You would have grew up watching Faker play. Now you're playing with him.
Definitely.
So when he as Zia, goes in for the Shurima shuffle on a group, people are loving it.
They've seen that one before. Yeah.
I
don't know how they leave Azir up because he's dominant. His little pocket pick, he's done this before.
So many picks though.
He does. He can play whatever. But he actually likes a Vel'Koz, man.
Oh,
Could come up in the final.
Lie.
He does. He does. He's whipped it out in a Game 5 decider before.
Oh, please.
Mass damage, no mobility, which is crazy because the pros all need to have the mobility is king. Yeah. And Faker is actually turning on the trash talk of late because he's quite a lot of these gamers are quite quiet.
Yeah, but he's the GOAT and he knows it.
He does, and he's doing good stuff for the sport. So they asked him about, what do you think about JDG's Golden Road? Obviously that was a big talking point coming into this.
Sure.
And he replied, all roads lead to Faker.
I love it.
And it's good because SKT has never lost to a Chinese team at Worlds.
Yeah.
Never lost from a team from the LPL.
Yeah, I never like those. Those records are made to be broken.
Well, they're versing a Chinese team in the final.
That's what I mean. Like it's it either happens or it doesn't. But when they say, "Oh, it's never happened," I'm like, "Yeah."
But it's good. What's your sample size? So he says
10, 15?
It's 6. 0.
Yeah, okay, great.
So he says all roads lead to Faker, and he goes, if you want to be the best, you're going to have to go through me.
Yeah. It's great. Love it. Laying down the gauntlet.
Laying it down. Actually, I found it fascinating because I was watching the game on the weekend, and in this super team, JDG, on the opposite end, the mid laner, his name is fuck me, what's his name? I forget it. But anyway, he's a Chinese player in this league, in this dominant Chinese team. And actually all the other Chinese teams that have won at Worlds have had a South Korean mid laner.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. So no Chinese team, although they've had about 3 or 4 world titles from the LPL, being the Chinese league, they've never had a Chinese player play mid lane. Which so he was on track. Oh, what was his name? Anyway, he is a lefty, so he uses his mouse with his left hand, and the keys with his right.
Interesting.
Isn't that really interesting? I didn't know you can do that. I thought with computers you just kind of had to get in, you just had to suck it up and like get on that mouse with the right hand.
Really? That's what you thought?
Yeah. I've never seen someone use the mouse with the left hand.
Yeah, occasionally a friend of mine will play, so like a normal first-person shooter, right? He'll play it with the left, like the gun on the left-hand side of the screen. It does my head in.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not.
And I was wondering, like, are you left-handed? Do you have the mouse in your left hand? That would suck for the majority of games, just the way they're set up for if you were to do that. But I honestly don't know if there's such thing as like left-handed keyboards and whatnot. There's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is. The way I saw him setting up, it looked like he was just using the keyboard with his right hand. Wow, I thought that's fascinating because he's the absolute top of the pops doing it. I thought that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, sure.
And I learned another interesting.
No, but there's all sorts of weird stuff about pro gamers. Like there's some guys who play Counter-Strike, and you watch them, and their face is touching the screen. That's how close they are to look at the center dot area.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's freaking nuts.
Do they get an advantage from doing that? Like, do they get like better?
It must be his thing to stay focused. I don't know. He's just pressed up against the thing. Like,
don't you need peripheral vision a little bit?
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah, you would. There's another bloke who like lays back in his chair and plays like his full reclined mode, and you're like, "Fuck,
competitive,
dude!" Like,
competitive,
the competitive level. Yeah. So you get all sorts.
I've always wondered how many guys smoke weed and play League of Legends.
Professionally. On the professional level. Are they testing?
Testing what?
Are they drug testing these guys?
Oh, definitely not.
They're not.
No.
It's open slather.
Just always wondered because sometimes these things, I don't want to say they go hand in hand, but when I play League of Legends, the amount of time someone pops up in the chat and just goes, yeah, sorry, I'm fucking blazed or whatever, something to that effect. I don't know if they're just saying it or what, but it's part and part of the culture a little bit.
Sure, it's in there. Yeah,
it's in there.
But they're not playing at the professional level, though.
That's true. Found out
probably
that Faker managed to avoid military service with South Korea.
Wow, how did you do that?
After he won gold at the Asian Games playing League of Legends.
Wow. They didn't have to do it then?
Yeah, they let them all off. 2 of the JDG players, who were actually must have been South Korean, and 3 of the SKT players. They made basically a bit of a super team.
It's pretty wild. So they need to do military service. Why? Because
of North Korea,
the standing army at the border.
Yeah, the 2 million people. There's something to that effect.
It's the most heavily deployed area of the world, right? Like there's.
And what do they call it? The demilitarized zone.
Yeah, well, that's the bit in the middle.
Hilarious. It is the most militarized zone.
Arguably.
I guess it depends how wide you cast your net. Maybe the demilitarized zone is maybe that's like it's still couple of meters.
It is heavily militarized, though. You're right.
It's one of those things. You call legislation like the Love and Flowers Act, and it's creating gulags, things like that.
Okay.
Actually, and just to cap out on the League of Legends things very quickly. I said all the SKT players have come through their development program.
Yes.
There's a guy called their jungler who had actually a really horrid season, fake it out for a while, and Owner is his name, got copped a lot of the brunt. He played spectacularly, which was nice. And they call him Owner, O-N-E-R. Everyone pronounces it Owner, but it's actually supposed to be pronounced Wanna. He loves SKT1. So T1, he called himself One.
Okay, yeah.
So he's a Wanna.
Yeah. Just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't get back to me because I can't watch it. I'm going to be in Darwin this Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, we can watch it. How are you going to stay off the results for a week?
It doesn't seem to come up in my, the algo doesn't really seem to tell me who wins these things.
Great. No, it won't unless you seek it out.
Yeah. I think I'll be fine. For example, I didn't watch the result of the semi last night until this morning.
Yep.
And it was, easy.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm keen.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think what's been on my mind this week.
Surely something ponderous, as per the intro.
Oh, ponderous. Well, I don't know if it's ponderous, but I mean, I wasn't actually that upset, but I just want to get on board the train, the Optus hate train.
Right, you want to get on board now?
Well, it was just a thing.
I think it's still boarding. I think the train's still boarding.
Yeah?
Yeah, board.
Isn't it all done and dusted?
No, because when Optus said we'll give you all free data or something, there were people going, what? That's dumb. And their argument is, look, we could give you the $2 back for the day's service that you lost. We'll give you the $2 if you want, but this is a better way for us to do it. To give you,
I'm 1080p all day long. No Wi-Fi for me. I'm going. Is there anything higher than 1080p? I have seen things.
4K. Yeah. You can run a YouTube video in 4K on the weekend. Are you with Optus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you want to get on board. Yeah, get on board.
Yeah.
What have you heard? You probably know more than me.
Oh, I heard that. Landline calls 000 weren't working.
Wow, that was the early reports, wasn't it? Yes, that did happen, I think. Yep.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of businesses impacted. That was sort of the headline news.
Yeah, but they'll give them $2 each or free credit on the weekend, like free data on the weekend. That's why people just, some people don't give a shit about data or don't need another 4 gig of data over the weekend. Some people don't care.
Yeah, well, I'm getting a 200 gig.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all that. Yeah, but a lot of people were speculating there was some kind of cyber attack, perhaps. But there wasn't. I know there wasn't. It wasn't.
No, it was a software update, I believe.
I didn't really know. So these things don't seem to happen very often.
Right.
But it surprises me how infrequently you do lose service connection.
Well, this is a bit different to that because you could lose connection in your area. But if you go nationwide outage, that is different. That is 000 calls not going through from a landline. That is people getting very confused in the morning. That is, people not being able to do what they usually do with their phones. And businesses, obviously, huge. 10 million customers across the board didn't have service for around 9 or 10 hours, I reckon, maybe 11 hours. Crazy.
And all the people that are anti-cashless economy were getting up on there, getting vocal about it.
Rightly so.
Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, businesses were struggling.
Yeah.
It just goes to show how I always think about this, how reliant and vulnerable we are through technology.
What are the AI robots of the future going to be hooked up to?
Because your phone is pretty much... I regard my phone as an extension of myself now.
Yes, it is your representative in the digital world.
And it is my access to the internet, which is critical because you realise I had my phone, but I had no access to the internet. It's like when you're on a plane and you realise how useless it is.
Yeah.
And so something like this happens.
Yes.
Right? You lose access to the internet.
Yep.
I can't make the internet. I can't make access to the internet. This is not in my wheelhouse. Like, I can plant a snow pea, right? If they run out of snow peas at the shop, I can probably do something to mitigate that.
Yes, you can't plant the internet. I understand what you're saying. What you could do, if you were worried about this happening again, you could, because most phones these days are dual SIM, you could put another phone, put another SIM card in from a different provider, load it up with just some prepaid dollary dues that never run out, hopefully, and then that's your go-to. That's your phone when you're not.
What happens if it's a coordinated cyber attack by a bad actor?
And the AI robots all start going into like kill mode. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can see how it all goes wrong. Maybe not the AI kill robots, but you just literally don't have the internet for 6 hours and things are falling apart. Like, we were.
Well, we grew up before the internet was always connected. Back in the days where you had to ask your parents if you could go on the internet because it knocked out the phone line for however long you were going to be on the internet for.
Mm.
And so there were times where the internet wasn't on and we found other things to do. And the great thing about back then is that our fridges weren't reliant on the internet. Our consoles, our game consoles didn't need the internet to play them. The computer had everything you could ever want without going on the internet. You could still play all your games. Whereas now it's like, turn on your Xbox. Sorry, can't see the internet. Don't know what games you own, mate, because I can't see you on the internet.
Can't see the cloud.
So
Where's
you can't
the cloud
play
at?
any games.
Nah.
I still think about to this very day how disappointed I was when I bought an Xbox One. I thought, holy shit, here we go, next gen, baby. Loved the 360. Let's go the Xbox One. Bought it. You bought one as well. Brought it home. To put in the disc. Disc goes in. Says, I need to download 70 gigabytes or some shit. And in Australia,
without internet,
and then in Australia, that's like a death sentence back then. It's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a tomorrow thing. Yeah,
day one launch was turn it on, go, oh, the menus look cool, and then go to bed like it's Christmas Eve and you want to get up really early to open presents.
Do you know we took the day off, or at least I took the day off on opening day one of the Xbox One. I pre-ordered one. I went and collected it. Took the day off. It wasn't a weekend.
We wanted to install Battlefield, right? Would that have been Battlefield 3 or something? Battlefield 3?
Don't know.
Yeah. There was something else. But nah, it eludes me. Look, great console. Just hate the fact that it has to be connected to the fucking internet all the time. I'm so reliant on it for pretty much.
But if you needed a 70
now.
gig download.
Yeah.
For the, it's like operating system or mechanics boilerplate shit for the Xbox. Put it on there. Get it on there before you pick it up.
Games.
I understand downloading the game. Was it all games that we were downloading? Is that the problem?
So
big games?
You'd put the disc in and it'd be like, hey, I need to download like 40 gig more, and you just say, why? What is the disc then? What's on the disc? There's no game on the disc. If you put the disc in, there's no game. What it probably is the beginning of sort of day one patches where they release the game and they go, fuck, this shit's broken. We need to fix it. The game's out. It's not the good old days where you could, blow into a cartridge, chuck it in, and it's the game.
It fixes the game's
problem.
On
there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Blowing in the cartridge made like no sense, but it just worked.
It does make a little bit of sense.
So is it the dust is it the connection? Is it from the cartridge?
Yeah.
What the hell is even going on with
the cartridge is completing the circuit of the computer. So the computer's doing its thing, can't do its thing without a cartridge, unless it was a Sega Master System 2, in which case just switch that bad boy on. You're playing Alex the Kid in Miracle World, But the N64, Super NES, when you put that cartridge in, it connects all the bits to the board and goes, great, we're playing a game.
You know how there was that little unit you could get that you plugged into the 64 and it kind of jacked up its RAM?
Yes, the expansion pack.
The expansion pack. Was that just a way of squeezing more money out of you?
No, that actually doubled the amount of memory. So you went from 8 meg to 16 meg. And some games recommended you had it.
So why didn't it come with 16?
Yeah, no, cause probably because it was cheaper to do 8.
Yeah, okay.
Why
didn't they have an expansion pack? Like a second generation expansion pack?
Yeah, why didn't they keep going? Well, they kind of did. That's kind of where the Nintendo Wii comes into it and all the other shit they did after that.
How's your Switch?
Yeah, I bought a Switch.
Yeah, what are you doing it?
I didn't think I'd do a lot on it. I thought it was just for plane trips, right? But even then, I was playing it on the plane and I was getting a bit bored of the Pokemon game. So I just thought, I'm not playing this right now. But the Mario is strong. It's really good.
So there's games on it?
No.
It comes with games. You buy, okay.
So you subscribe to this thing where you get 2 games included in this bundle. So rather than paying, I think it's like $75 a game, you pay $75 and you get 2 games included in that. So you just go bang, bang, I'll have those 2.
Yeah.
And I picked up, your Wii Sports thing, had a bowl, a bit of bowling, bit of tennis, bit of volleyball.
Bowling, the 10 pin bowling.
Yeah, 10 pins. Yep. And no, really, really digging the Mario. Love the way it connects to your TV. That's fun.
So you can cast it.
You've got a docking station which is connected via HDMI cable to your TV. So you just put it in there, take the controllers off the side, and you've got a 2-player Nintendo setup straight out of the box.
Okay. All right.
So pretty cool.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's good. I played in my first online bowling event, and of course, it thinks I'm a rookie, but I've been playing the Wii bowling for forever now. So pretty profish at
online bowling.
So I went online. Yeah, I didn't know what it was going to be. I absolutely tarped them up though.
Oh, because you were put against rookies.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I'm talking like I would, do the spin bowl thing. Make it, try and get the strikes. But even when I hit, 7 pins, and then if I miss, and hit nothing, I'm not at risk of elimination in any of the rounds. And when it came down to the finals, I just, doubled this idiot's score, took him out.
Trolling him.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, I wonder when that's going to run out, because I reckon that could be the first 10 levels.
So you basically did a Maxwell.
Yeah, man. How wild was that? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, what a prick.
Selfish.
Yeah, greedy.
Yeah, give it to him. Yeah, give it to him.
Always has to be about Maxwell, doesn't it?
Yeah, well. He
And
just came off the golf
Afghanistan.
cart. He just came off the golf cart a couple of weeks ago, concussed, couldn't play in the game. This is his first game back.
Is that right? Is it? I didn't actually even know.
Yeah, he fell off the back of a golf cart and got concussed, couldn't play. And then, boom, he's back, hits 200 and won.
Don't forget the one.
Cramping up, falling over. Did you see this stuff?
Yeah, the whinging, rolling around like a soccer player, please.
Yeah, you've had a gutful.
I've had a gutful. And he did it to Afghanistan. The nerve of him, right? They were doing so well.
Right, they were.
They were looking at qualifying. I don't know what actually ended up happening, but I don't think they would have qualified for, the knockout stage of the World Cup. But if they beat Australia, they were right there. I think they were 5th, and you need to finish in the top 4 of your group.
What, are you saying without Maxwell's knock they were screwed?
As in Afghanistan may have qualified for the knockout stage if they beat Australia.
You're putting it squarely on Maxwell.
On Maxwell. No class.
No class.
He just came out there, right?
Yes.
He dangled the dream in front of him.
Right.
Dangled it. They had him 7 for 90, chasing, what was it? 300 or some bullshit.
God.
A big amount. And then he comes out
for 7 for 90. Is that
they
true?
had him 70 for 90. And then Maxwell comes out, decides to embarrass them.
Yeah.
With the biggest one-day score by an Australian ever. No, but really, what was actually going on, that was sort of Faker-esque type stuff. He didn't even look like he was playing cricket.
You're right.
He planted his feet. He had straight legs, planted feet, no foot movement.
Yeah.
And he was clobbering them everywhere.
So what was up? Why was he in such bad nick? Coming into the order late? What's going on?
I don't know why he was. Maybe it was hot or something. I don't know about the cramp because it was vicious cramp by the looks of things, wasn't it?
Did you see the one where he's running, but he stops running? He starts like toddling because he's obviously completely fucked, and then gets over the line, immediately lies down on his back, and it's like he's just shaking, like his legs are shaking, and you're like, "Fuck, dude! Like, what are you on now? 90? How does this go on for another 102 runs?"
He stopped running, didn't he? He wasn't doing any running between the wickets by the sound of things.
Well, I think he was.
Oh, but he could have run 3, but he ran 1 probably.
Yeah, sure.
And this is a cramp. Like some people get into people going, what you came off with cramp. I don't think they understand that cramp isn't what you get when you're lying in bed having done fuck all one night. You wake up with a little, not you specifically, I'm talking about the person who's.
You really have had a gutful.
It's not like a minor little, you need to stretch your big toe and it'll feel better. Sports cramp is debilitating. You can't actually do what you need to do to win the game.
Well, he did, though.
But he did. But he wasn't running between the wickets. Man, so no. he scored 201 not out off 128 bowls. I wonder how many more runs he would have got if...
Right, because if he was running, sure, because there would have been a lot of instances where he's hit it and either needed to remain on strike or... just keep hitting sixes.
He was dogging him everywhere. There was something going on. I think that he was just focusing on good connection with the ball.
Didn't they drop him as well, though?
Oh, they dropped him a bunch. They dropped him 3 times at least.
No, that's bad.
Well, wait, sorry. One of them wasn't a drop. He nearly got bowled. He survived a hat-trick bowl. He nearly got out on a hat-trick bowl.
So when he came out, you mean?
When he came out, they were on a hat trick.
Yep.
And it stayed low and it missed the off stump by a bee's dick.
Yes.
And it missed his outside edge by a fraction of a bee's dick. So lots of bees' dicks. Yeah, there were lots of bees in the area at the time. Yes. And then they dropped him at least twice. And one of them, my grandma could have caught, and she's not even alive. Wow. It popped up. It just popped. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It was maybe, I don't know what position it was, not leg slip, somewhere down there. But
was it sort of a chest mark attempt? Like it was the sort of catch where they do it around their chin?
It's the kind of thing where you toss a lolly bag to a 5-year-old.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and you just go, and they're going to catch it because it's a lolly bag. If they're not a bloody drongo.
Okay. And then they won. So I don't even know where we're at. I didn't think you were following cricket either, but what's going on?
I'm not. I saw some highlights. I don't know. I'm not. Yep. I'm not too busy with
finals coming up, I think.
Legends, yeah. Yeah, you would think so. Did England make it through? There was a lot
I don't know. I actually don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look up now. I can't tell you. Maybe someone can send us an email. Give us a summary because ChatGPT doesn't have the answers.
No, it doesn't have anything past January 2022.
Jan 22. Does it have the Capital 6 riots?
Oh, funnily, well, I think that was 2021.
Is it that long ago? Oh, man.
So maybe. I actually don't know. Maybe 2020.
It's a big Indian holiday that just passed this.
Yes, it is.
Diwali?
Yes. That's right.
Sounds cool. I only heard about it today. I missed it.
Yeah. No.
Apparently, it's as important to Hindus as the Christmas holiday is to Christians.
Yeah, big day,
huge day. I want to reread the Gita.
Yeah. So have you read it, and then you need to finish it again.
I've read it, but it's one of those things that you read it and then you listen, you think back to what you learned about it. And you just have like an impression, but you don't have any data. Like if someone said, "Oh, what happens?" I'll be like, "Well, I do know I forgot the main protagonist's name, but he has a servant called Krishna. So there's his main protagonist, and there's this Krishna, his servant, and their servant turns out to be the Lord, Savior, God, fellow, and it's really cool. It's a bit of a twist.
That is a cool twist.
And that's literally all I remember. And I also remember being very impressed with the language that they use. It's a translation from Sanskrit. So,
yes.
I mean, that sort of it's a modern day translation. So I guess you treat cheating a little bit in the sense that the Bible reads like shit, but at least it's a direct translation of, that it was translated a long time ago, 500 years ago, and they compiled it and they've been faithful to that translation.
Yeah. And further to that point, like I've seen those videos where they even just go around Australia in the 1940s or 50s, and the way people talked back then, it's really difficult to understand what they're talking about because that's how quickly, dialects can change, if you like.
Totally.
Like talking to someone from 300 years ago would be really difficult.
Really hard, wouldn't it? It's funny because you think that it's going to be stagnant. You think language is stagnant and that you assume that we've achieved a certain finesse to the English language now that will continue.
Not really.
That's how I feel, but I know it's not the case. I know it's not.
Like, for example, and this is a bad example, people say lol.
Good one.
Like, imagine explaining that to someone from the 1930s. They're just wondering what you're talking about. And the shortening of things, all the shortening of things. We live in a fast-paced digital world now. Need things pronto.
It's got to be acronyms. Yeah, okay.
Everything's so fast now.
Well, I'm reading, I think I was talking to you about this recently, but I'm reading The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
Yes.
And one thing that's interesting about that is it's written 1880, 1870, around there. So we're talking, it's 150 years old to begin with. But he uses language where if you read it out loud, it sounds like, you read it phonetically out loud and it sounds like you're in the south of the US.
Yeah, that's interesting. You can kind of hear the voice.
You hear the voice. It's very clever because it's literature in the sense that he's not just, like ChatGPT doing the exact words that you need to convey meaning. He's giving it his own flavor, and it must take so long to write like that because it's amazing.
Why do you think that?
Because he's using I think it's far easier just to spell things the way they're supposed to be spelled. You don't have to think about it.
Understood.
To misspell
maybe that is more natural for them.
Yeah, that's true. But it looks like they're intentionally misspelled the words. A lot of the time I actually don't know. Sometimes I have to read the word a couple of times, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Right. And other times I just never get it. But it's not so much that the meaning is lost. It's only it's still the vibe it creates is very powerful.
Yes. And
it does transport you to a certain time and a place. But it is fascinating that the language is very different to sort of Old Englishy, but Southern Old English, if there's such a thing.
Yeah. And we're an English colony as well, so.
I'm wondering if ChatGPT has this skill.
What skill? To write as if it's from the South? I imagine it would. I think it would draw on inspiration from the same sort of thing, yeah. Forgot the author's name?
All I wrote, Mark Twain.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's got some. I started reading it because I keep hearing all these quotes Mark Twain has, and I was like, what's this guy, what's he up to?
What's he on about? Yeah.
And I haven't quite finished it, but damn, it's a good book. Okay. So I asked ChatGPT, write something as if it's from the south of the US.
Okay. But gave it nothing, hey?
Gave it nothing.
You gave absolutely nothing.
I'm just going to read it in my voice because I can't do a southern US voice. I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. And I can't even really read. I'm virtually illiterate anyway. So, well, bless your heart, y'all. Grab a sweet tea, pull up a porch swing, and let's have ourselves a good old conversation. Now, down here in the South, we all know a thing or two about hospitality, grits, and the art of storytelling. You see, life moves a little slow around these parts, and we believe in taking the time to savor the simple things. Look, whether it's sitting on the front porch watching fireflies or sharing tales at the local diner, there's a certain charm to the southern living. Now, if you're looking for some down-home wisdom or maybe just a good recipe for biscuits, we've got it all. And don't you worry, darling, we'll treat you like family even if we've just met. So kick off them boots, settle in, and let's share a piece of southern comfort right here on the front porch of the Vacuous Perspective podcast. After all, the best stories are told with a drawl and a side of sweet tea.
Wowzers in my trust. That was like god awful from ChatGPT, really. It didn't do what you wanted it to do, did it?
No, but it
did better than what we would come up with, given the amount of time that we gave ChatGPT. I mean, way better, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm now asking it to write it as if it was a chapter in Huckleberry Finn.
Wowzers. Okay, go for it.
I'm not going to read it out. I'm just seeing how it went. No, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what it's done. It's given me 5 paragraphs. Yeah, okay. Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. I was watching Britney versus Spears on Netflix.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. I'm only aware of the Britney stuff. All that was canon up until when she released her book and the subsequent documentary.
So what was the book she released?
Some autobiography.
Okay, was that recently, was it?
That was recently, yeah.
And is that similar?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the documentary.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's pro Britney.
Great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean,
I like Britney.
I don't know anything. I like Britney. I love it. I don't know much. I don't actually know much about what was going on. I picked up bits here and there.
Yes.
I knew that they wanted to free Britney, there were some people driving for that kind of, that vibe.
Yes.
Mm. And
do they go into that?
Yeah, it does. It paints a pretty grim picture of her father, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would have thought it would.
Yeah. I didn't realise, I didn't know what a conservatorship was. I don't think there's an analogous thing in Australia, but I don't really.
I'm sure there is.
Well, yeah, there probably is. But I don't think you normally grant a conservatorship, which takes away all your civil liberties, really. I don't think you grant one to someone who has a job, for example. Because if you've got a job, you're with it enough to be able to make decisions for yourself. So she was doing tours, she was writing choreography, all that stuff.
Sure.
But at the same time that she was pulling in millions upon millions of dollars, there was, for 13 years, she wasn't able to handle her own finances, make decisions about who was representing her legally, things of that nature. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
On one hand, you say, she's not actually able to do any of these things. I need to look after her. And on the other hand, she's doing these amazing things. I don't. Again, I also have heard she's a bit of a wild child. And my wife shows me some Instagrams she releases. She does seem
recent ones.
Yeah, she does seem a little unhinged.
Yeah.
At the same time,
I follow Britney because a friend of mine did a TikTok about one of her dancing videos, and he commentated over the top of it, and it's hilarious. She comes out, she's got a bouquet of flowers, so he'll say something like, Britney's back with the bouquet of flowers, doing a nice spin move now, and she'll do a spin move, and he starts. Later in the piece, he starts saying, "Look, Britney, if you're in trouble, just blink at the camera a couple of times, and that'll be the signal. Let me know. I can come round." And she does. So it's but she's got a lot of those videos where it's just her in front of the camera in her mansion somewhere, just doing a little jig usually.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple. Is that just her jam now? So she does jigs. I mean, is this the final form of her art, or she's still performing? Okay.
Yeah. She was doing a residency in Vegas, I'm sure.
Yes, that came up in Netflix. She did like 250 shows or something.
That's crazy.
Pretty mega.
It's just Britney every night. She has to rock up and be Britney every single night. It's wild.
Yeah. So if she's still, because I was worried that maybe this was her final form of her, because she's had a very, very, very successful career.
Yeah,
she's impacted the cultural landscape.
Yeah,
in a big way.
100%.
She's done some stuff.
She's if Madonna's the queen of pop, she's the princess of pop.
Yeah.
100%.
So I was a little bit worried that she wasn't doing any of that anymore at all, and that
I think
her final form of her art is like this. Her legacy is
these Instagram videos.
Yeah, that was my concern.
No, I think she's just a celebrity living outwardly like most celebrities do. She'll post a photo of her and her man. I think they just got married. Is that true? Could be just making that up.
I don't know, actually. I don't think that came up in the doco.
Didn't come up?
She married a dude, she divorced a dude,
Yeah, the backup dancer, right? Yeah,
yes.
Dancer. Kevin or something, is that his name?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, right, I don't remember his last name. Great.
And so her father apparently would be using, he could decide when she could see and not see her kids.
Bloody hell.
So he would organise a big world tour, quite a demanding world tour, and threaten her with she won't be able to see her kids if she doesn't perform. And he was making all the money because he's in control of the finances.
Of course.
So in a way, it's kind of like, it sounds, when you put it like that, when you paint it with that brush, it's like really fucked up.
Of course it is.
And what I don't understand, she, at one point, about 3 years into the conservatorship, some people snuck some documents into. She met a woman in a toilet in some mansion. She signed a thing, like a petition, some kind of court document saying, I want to be released from the conservatorship, blah, blah, blah. Gave some reasons. This woman who got her to sign it thought this is all going to be over because, we've got the court document signed by Britney. And they deemed, I think it took about a week or so, they deemed it not to be her signature. And, continued on, didn't ask her, didn't go any further. And they all maintain, even the lawyer appointed by her father, maintained that she never wanted to terminate the conservatorship when she had said publicly, maybe not said, there were...
Hectic.
It's pretty weird. Some people live some wild lives, don't they?
Yeah, but it makes you think about how we would have responded when she did the head shaving thing. Everyone was like, she's gone crazy. Remember this?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
I get the crazy. I understand why it would be crazy. Sounds fucking crazy.
And so why did she do that? Or you don't – what do you mean by that?
Why did she do that?
Was it –
Well, I'm saying now that you know what she was going through all those years.
Yeah, so she's seeking – is it some kind of statement?
No, just fucking doesn't care, right? Doesn't care. Don't give a fuck, Yeah,
but if you don't give a fuck, you don't have to shave your head, but go on, if she wants to.
No, maybe it was a fuck you to someone, potentially. Who knows?
Yeah.
If my parents had the whip on me to work to enrich them and do all that sort of stuff,
you'd be acting out a little bit, perhaps.
I'd shave my head. Yeah, bloody oath. Yeah. If that's my hook, they're like, oh, you want a world tour? Yeah, sell this world tour. Shave the head. But I don't know. No, I honestly still don't know what it was all about. But I can imagine a bunch of situations that would cause me to do something a bit wild if I was in her sitch.
So, I mean, surely this would cause more mental damage and anguish than they're not a conservatorship. I don't know. It's hard when you're not in there. But you think this sounds traumatic.
Which part?
The conservatorship, having someone else controlling your life, controlling your finances, controlling your access to
kids, yeah,
organising tours. So she stopped doing tours for about 3 or 4 years, and eventually got to the point where it's quite hilarious. There was a lot of public pressure on the dad to free Britney. I think you may have picked. I remember picking up this kind of attitude. There was some maybe 2 years ago or so.
Free Britney.
Yeah. And
Dad sounds like a scumbag.
100%. Actually, she married someone, and the bloke became co-conservator.
Great. Does he have any sway in removing the conservatorship?
No. Then eventually they broke up, and he was out of the picture. But
right, does that mean he's out?
Yeah, it must have been part of the deal. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Imagine. I live a sheltered life.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's a good thing you weren't a child star.
It hasn't worked out for too many, has it?
Yeah, it's worked out for a few. But it would have been tough. It would have been tough no matter what. Even if they make it, or if they don't make it, or if they never do it again, they might, some actors just never acted again. They might have done Happy Days or some shit, or they might have done a movie and then just never worked again by choice. Like, I'm done with that. And then there's other people who have been in it their whole lives, don't know anything but it. A lot of those. I would say Downey Jr., like that. He was pretty young when he started. Johnny Depp was really young when he started.
Oh, okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio, he was pretty young when he started and remained young.
I had no idea. I thought he started with Titanic. That's how.
Yeah, right. So you haven't seen like What's Eating Gilbert Grape with Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio?
I don't think I have. How old is he in that?
He wouldn't be that old.
Yeah, I did see Basketball Diaries, and I sort of had this natural, I wouldn't say hate, but when I assumed, because he was so pretty and I'd only seen him play one role, that I assumed he was just a pretty boy that they just popped in there and he had no acting talent. He was just being himself. And I realised pretty quickly after I saw a few roles, subsequent roles, that he is a mad diggity dog.
Yes.
And the one that really got me going was Basketball Diaries.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
He's he plays a 15-year-old drug addict.
Mm.
And it is hectic, and he's amazing.
Sounds like it.
Because when a child actor pulls it off, you don't normally see child actors and, they don't quite. Yeah, they're just,
not as good as the adult actors.
No, he had it going on. He was amazing.
I think that's what a lot of the success of Stranger Things came from, is that all the actors, all the kid actors, they were the main characters. They were all really good characters, like well written and really well acted. Like they really nailed the casting.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you said to most people who are, adults who are looking for a new show, they're like, hey, this one's really cool. It's set in the 80s, a bunch of kids figure out some mystery shit. I'd be like, no, I'm not watching that. That sounds trash. And I'm opening myself up to some piss poor acting. But one of those scenarios where I like being wrong. Watched it, thought it was great.
I loved it. I have no qualms with it, except for they left another season open at the end of whatever season 5 or whatever it was. I think they just needed to end it.
What season was it? 4 or something?
4 maybe. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was all great. I was loving it. It
was a cool season.
It was a very cool season, and it gets
even though I thought it's nowhere near as compelling as season 1, because season 1 is a whole new world. This has to be set within that world. But I loved all the Russia shit where old mates in Russia in a fucking gulag.
Yes. Well, they go full climax on it, right? It feels like it's building the whole season. It's building. You have the final sort of face off.
Yep, huge.
It's amazing. They nailed it. And then they sort of just leave it open again. I think, this is just a never ending. This is Lost all over again.
Yeah, they'll end it. either when it's not done or when it's done.
Yeah. I suppose I don't have
Game
to
of
keep
Thrones,
watching
we
it
were
if I
talking
don't
about it
want
the other night with some friends of mine, and we were just, I think I said something to the effect of, I remember when Game of Thrones was really good, like when you waited a week and it was exciting and you went, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then you went to that awful last season that people just speed ran because they were so depressed. Did you watch the last season?
Yeah, I did. That's the first season I started watching with the wife, and she was very confused. She was about part of the way through episode 2 or 3, and she said to me, "Is this good?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening." Like I was because I'd been talking it up so much, right? Yeah. Everyone and she's copying the hype train hard, right? Everyone's super pumped.
But I maintain that the first 4 or 5 seasons they're great.
They're so good.
Great. They're great.
They're amazing.
Fun.
They're so good. They're amazing. They're very, very good, and it just deteriorates. Particularly, really, it's just the last season. It starts. I think the wheels start falling off in the second last, but it's really just the last season that people have problems with.
Completely off.
But the wheels are off. It sort of reminds me of expectation versus reality, in that stories are great, and the anticipation of a meal is often the anticipation of travel, the anticipation of a meal. A lot of times, it is actually as good, if not better, than the actual thing.
Interesting.
So when the story's developing, you're enthralled with all the possibilities because you're like, how is this going to end? This is amazing. Once you start crystallizing the actual story, you start poking holes in it. You start thinking it could be something else. You have all this expectation, and once it crystallizes, it doesn't always or rarely actually hits the mark.
Yeah, but are you talking about having ideations about where it's going and being wrong?
Not being wrong. Maybe just it's almost like the way when you watch a film, it doesn't match. You feel like it hasn't done the book any justice. I think when you read the book, your imagination creates so much of the story, and when it I'm trying to think of it, like I don't know how to sort of explain it because I don't really know what I'm talking about. It reminds me of Cloverfield. Have you seen the movie Cloverfield? And there's there's like a Godzilla type sort of character in it. It's terrifying until you actually see what the monster is, and then the whole thing falls apart. So your mind projects this sense of dread and this, what is this thing? This is terrifying. This is going to be amazing. Once they actually crystallize the demon enemy thing, it's just this lame CGI. Yeah. It loses all its all. It
lost the magic.
It lost the magic.
But they're still doing Cloverfield, like 10 or whatever. They're still doing those.
Are there more than one Cloverfields?
Yeah.
Movies?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I watched Cloverfield at the movies. I didn't hate it, but I just remember it was like, it was so terrifying and awesome until they were forced to play the monster in like a bit more detail. And then once you see what it is, there's no fear of it anymore. It sort of loses that power it had. And this is what terrifies me about the swim to Rottnest. This is why I'm the big fish. I swam 7.5 Ks on Saturday morning just to see
how you going.
How I went, and I fucking wrecked my neck as well. But anyway, when you're out there in the ocean, you don't see. I've done it in a team before for the Rottnest Channel swim. There's a lot. It's very dark, and you just see shadows from whether it's clouds above or different. I don't know what the water does, but your mind plays. You start kind of overthinking the shark element. Possibility. I think.
Well, I can understand why you would think that, because if you zipped into that moment, you're like, okay, I'm in the water. What am I doing in the water? Okay, I'm swimming. Going that way, there's fucking sharks everywhere.
But I think it's the
you haven't got a lot else to think about as well. You're in the water with sharks.
Yes, and your mind's left to wander.
Yeah.
But if
it's never like a pod of dolphins are going to come up and give you a hand, or you're going to ride the waves with them.
I'm not going to become Little Mermaid in.
Nah, it's the Jaws monster.
But I think that's also our mind's tendency to gravitate towards negative things.
Yeah, right. So what, we're going to start thinking about the positive then, the dolphins?
Yeah, I should think about being living under the sea with in the octopus's garden with the beetles and things like that.
Yes. Although I don't think they were actually underwater. I just think they were taking a lot of drugs.
Oh, man. Being on lots of drugs and doing the Rottnest channel swim would be
that doesn't sound like
terrifying.
Yeah, that would be terrifying.
Yeah, don't recommend it.
No.
I will be very sober.
Yeah, think about dolphins. Think about I'm struggling to think of nice things in the ocean.
I think plump fish, like very round, well-fed fish.
Yes.
Yes, anything that looks well-fed, I think I'd like to be friends with.
And what's the dream? A whale?
Yeah, because they eat little shrimp and things like that. Yeah, maybe a whale.
Yep. Great. So we'll book that in.
Whale would be nice. A blue whale.
All I'm saying is I think you should have 3 things for the shark. 3 positive things. And then have the shark things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe an under the sea sort of mystical adventure, like a sort of a really fanciful under the sea, something that I can really sing along to.
Okay, great.
So that's probably the first one. The whale. I like the whale.
Yes.
And then we'll...
Pod of dolphins.
Pod, yeah.
Maybe they'll give you a little lift. Just go a couple of 100 meters on the dolphin. But you're not meant to touch them. They have a protective layer around their skin that protects them from diseases.
No touching.
Don't touch them. Put gloves on.
No touching.
Okay.
I've been looking at world records, actually.
Again? Okay.
Yeah.
In the sport world?
No, in the cooking world, actually. But I want to go broader than that. And I think we could do the podcasting world record. I think it's that, not now.
Okay. What is the world record?
I think I was saying, I looked into it. I think it's 56 hours consecutively.
Jesus.
I think there's a niche for us there. I think that's actually a bit light on. That's
you
probably
think we could
easy.
Do 57?
Yeah. I mean, what? So it's 2 days, 2.5 days?
2.5 days.
I'm not saying it'll be easy.
No.
But we could do, well, if we had to, we could do it.
Yes, if we had to do it, we could do it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, book the week off and we got it. I want 3 days to recover afterwards.
Well, we could just do it over the weekend. We could start Friday after work.
That sounds like a fucking god-awful weekend.
Can you imagine Monday
I like
morning?
my weekends. I like my days off. You know what I'm saying? You going like, oh man, what's wrong? You just finish work on the Friday, jump on and you fucking stay there till fucking you have to go to work on Monday. You'd be totally fine. That sounds just dreadful.
I'm concerned about the hardware situation though.
Why? You're just worried about having something get knocked out?
I mean, I've got a warning on my health check at the moment.
Yep, that would definitely get used on a 56-hour-long podcast stream.
Yeah, do we have enough, what do you call it?
Well, the short answer is we do it live.
Memory?
No, we'd do it live, so we wouldn't need any of this apparatus. We would just
automatically uploads into the cloud?
Yeah, it just goes live. It's just live. We can do YouTube live. We could be live right now, but we're not.
Oh, okay. It's pretty cool.
That would be a live show if we were going to do 57 hours.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very possible. Like, if we wanted a world record, we could actually do it. I think it's an Australian guy that holds the 56 or 54 or something like that.
Crazy person.
And he's by himself.
No.
Well, at least it was just his picture. You think there'd be 2 of them. Maybe he had people in. Maybe he had like a bunch of guests, like 50 guests lined up.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's just put that in the goals for this year to kick would be to get a world record in podcasting.
There's probably others as well. Like most, swear words in a given amount of time. We could do like the most swear words in an hour or something and just fucking tee off. Yep.
Great. So there are other world records to get as well.
The reason why I've been thinking about it is apparently world record attempts have gripped Nigeria.
Okay.
They're all about
gripped.
They've gripped it. They're all there's like they all want to. They're looking into world records.
And
there's someone called. This says, okay, I need to look into it because I literally just saved some articles. There's a Nigerian record, so it's been beaten, but this sort of shows what that is cooking. Okay, so it's who can cook for the longest. So it's cooking nonstop.
Got it.
This guy called Alan Fisher, who's based in Japan, cooked for 119 hours.
Is that safe?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. See, 119 hours of cooking sounds way worse than 56 hours of podcasting.
That's true.
And so he broke this Nigerian chef, Hilda Baki's world record. And when she won the world record earlier this year, I had no idea, but she caused a sensation in Nigeria.
Wow.
And it kicked off a craze of world record attempts.
Okay. What are the world records?
I'm working my way to those. Okay. So she's an inspiration, people are saying. Oh, so this guy who broke her world record, so Mr. Alan Fisher, he peeled 300 kilos of potatoes as part of his cooking marathon.
Oh, as part of.
Part of.
Okay.
The rhythm of
those
peeling.
are space numbers.
Yeah.
That's just a space number. It's like, oh, is that a lot?
No, this is
that
still,
a lot of
this
them?
is a terrestrial
number.
That's still terrestrial.
Yeah, but is that a lot? I don't really know.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of, a space number would be, 300,000 tons of potato.
Yeah. But if 300,000 skins, we get it.
He says the rhythm of peeling would almost hypnotize me. I had one hallucination on the second to last day. I turned to ask someone to pass me something like I would on any normal day, only to realize there was no one there.
Wow, that's not that hallucinatory. I mean, if you turned around and there was a giant beanstalk, now we're talking. But just not having someone there, that should be normal. I mean, you've been standing around for 100 hours. What? Did he think someone was there? Anyway, doesn't matter.
It's just an honest mistake, isn't it?
Yeah,
so this Alan Fisher went on to break the non-stop baking record.
Oh, wow. He did
47 hours of baking.
Oh, mate.
He made 357 kgs worth of soda bread and 3,360 portions of food.
Oh, God. Yeah. Do you know that world record attempt, if we were to try it for the podcast one, that would be one of the hardest things ever. Do you know that?
What, sitting down and talking to you for...
You think it's easy. You think it's easy.
I don't think it's easy.
Wow.
I don't think it's easy.
Because I reckon we would start feeling it at probably hour 5, 6. And you're only a tenth of the way, Oh, boy.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that people have done harder things.
Yes.
We were just talking about the world record in the outback, the backyard events. I'm doing one next year, and the guy, every hour on the hour, you have to run 6.7 kilometers. They got to over 100.
Yeah.
100 hours of running 6.7 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I wouldn't be doing that one.
We only have to sit and chat for half of it. Like, it's got to be possible, right? We got to at least say
but what's
it's
the
possible.
bailout number? Is the bailout number like 12? Once we get to 12.
There's no bailout. There's no bailout. You commit.
Wow.
It's a hard commit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But if you got to 12 and we had a secret sign that we both could throw up if we needed to leave immediately, and we both threw it up at 12 hours, I reckon that's a pretty good effort, to be honest. 12 hours would be huge.
So you reckon start with 12 just to see what we're dealing with?
Well, you want to go straight for the ultra marathon. You want to just put your shoes on and go, which I respect.
But I think once you have a taste for it, once you're 12 hours deep, that's why you commit. And also you don't know, you're pot committed. I think you want to be pot committed.
At 20, you feel pot committed.
Yeah, because you're like, well, now.
I wouldn't feel particularly pot committed after 12. It's 50 hours.
I can talk. I mean, I don't talk well, but I've got ideas.
Yeah, sure.
I'm the big fish.
Yeah, you're the fish.
The big fish.
The big fish.
Okay, so this is Nigeria, right? So we could just talk about World Record Mania in Nigeria for...
What, 8 of the hours?
8 of the hours, and then we'll move on to another country.
Other things. Yeah.
Other things. We could just watch the whole of Peep Show through and give it like a running commentary.
Yeah. If that's fine to do, I'd love to do that. If we just did that, if we had movie time.
Mate, my neck is so crook. I need to get some heat into it. So this article says it's hard to keep up with all the recent attempts.
Mm.
So this is in July after Becky got that world record for cooking. And for some reason, she must have been a bit of a semi-celeb. So this one man sang for 200 hours.
Oh, my God. The same song?
I don't know. I'll see if they go into more detail. And then, so this is the
if this is a verified world record, I should be able to watch the video. Really?
Yeah, true. Because surely you release that stuff. Okay, a man is crying nonstop to set a record as you read this. That was 16.
For fuck's sake.
How do you cry? How do you force yourself to cry?
Is that just going like? I think that if the Guinness World Record people are on site and they're watching for the crying, I think the minimum is kind of like Olympic level walking. You know, there's a sort of acceptable. There's rules.
Yes, there's rules. You'd have to have a minimum amount of moisture.
No, it's not moisture. It's not going to be tears. I think just going. You
could just be acting though.
You are acting. This guy's not sad. He's going for a world record. If he finishes, he's going to be ecstatic. He's probably going to get happier the longer it goes on. The closer he gets to his goal, the happiness will start spilling over into the crying, and they will go more sad. Like, yeah, you can't do it that. You have to do proper sad. Okay.
Maybe his whole family died in a car accident.
And then he thought, time to attempt the world record.
Yeah, he goes, I'm pot committed now. I've been sad for about 3 days. I've been beside myself.
Yeah, no, I think he would have set it up. You know, they got to book the arena, whatever it's being done in. You got the Guinness World Record officiator there. He's going to make sure that he's crying for the record time. It's not just him sitting in a room with a clock. I do like it though.
Okay,
I want to find this longest podcast ever. I want to see the episode, and I want to skip to like 60 hours in and see how he's going.
Yeah, well, he only got 54 or 56. The one I saw, it's an Australian bloke. I can't remember his name. So anyway, while you find that, these are other world record attempts in Nigeria. A woman said she was staying indoors for the longest time. Don't have any more data on that one. And another was seen attempting to fry the most snails.
It sounds awful. Can we ask the snails if they're down for this?
It's genocide, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
So then it all started after Miss Backy
got the cooking one.
Yeah. I'll see if I find any more about these other records. So someone's trying a record puff attempt. It looks like they've got some kind of donut bowl that they put in boiling water.
Yes. And he's going for the world record of that.
Yeah, or she is.
And he'll probably bloody get it.
Yeah, okay.
Do you get money? Do you get money if you win?
No, I think you just get notoriety.
So you get a little certificate.
I hope so. Yeah, I can see Backy here, Hilda Backy with a Guinness World Record certificate. Apparently Guinness World Records saw a spike in applications from Nigerians. But they could not confirm if the number of attempts from one country itself constituted a record. So someone was asking whether Nigeria has set a world record by trying the most world record attempts in a year or something.
Yep. Bloody hell, well, they should know.
I wonder if they're still going with it.
Yeah, it's probably just a bit of a trend. Yeah, could be a trend.
One man in secondary school is going for the longest time reading aloud in September. I wonder how he went.
I assume you've got to read aloud for upwards of 50 hours. He's a secondary school student? Mate, you got exams and stuff. You got to worry about things.
Okay,
you don't have time for this.
124 hours.
You don't have time for this.
It was achieved by Rice by Isakov of Kyrgyzstan in Bursa, Turkey.
Yeah.
Last year.
He read aloud for
124 hours.
Bloody hell.
Okay, so this Nigerian obviously didn't successfully complete it because he obtained approval from Guinness World Records and was rehearsing towards crushing the current record of 124 hours set last year in Turkey by Isakov. So he was going for 140 hours.
He was in training for it.
Yeah.
He was trying.
I've got a picture of Tembu Eberi, who says he's crying for African youths to show them there's no limit.
Sounds like an art thing more than a world record attempt it sounds like an art thing.
It could be perceived as being an art thing, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, especially if it's got that message. But you can you can have world record art.
A kissing attempt.
Great, world record kissing.
Well, it was banned in the state where it was planned, with authorities warning all involved that there will be consequences if they went ahead with their attempt to set a world record for kissing nonstop. Oh my God, Guinness World Records removed this category after people collapsed during previous attempts outside Nigeria.
Oh, God.
How long were they kissing?
Well, this is the thing, mate. You can kiss safely and you can kiss unsafely, and this is not encouraging safe kissing. This is encouraging long kissing to sometimes grave consequences by the sounds of things. That's the one that gets banned. That's the one that gets banned. All the other ones are fine.
And they call it a kissathon. And the Culture Ministry of Etiki said that this event is not only absurd, immoral, unhealthy, but capable of denigrating the image of Ekiti. So they banned it. I mean, how do you ban people from kissing? Anyway, so
the same thing, there's an artist who gets a whole bunch of nude people to pose on the beach, and they take a photo of all these nude people. He's an artist, he goes around the world and does this, right? And he gets volunteers from that city to come down and be the nudists, right? That wouldn't go down in every country. That's not okay in some places. And some people here would even be like, I hate that. And that's fair enough. Like, that's their opinion. They don't like it. That's fair enough.
Yeah. Okay,
Strikes at the very
heart
of our democracy.
Oh, doesn't it just? We have to head off. But just to close out, Tembu Eberi, who was crying nonstop for 7 days, says he's experienced serious health issues, telling the BBC that he had headaches, a swollen face, went partially blind for 45 minutes, and has puffed eyes. He had to re-strategize and reduce his wailing. So it was more sobbing than wailing.
Oh, my God. All right, I want to watch that video.
And so he didn't apply to the Guinness World Record, so it won't be an official record.
Damn, I want to see. I'm going to look up independently, bit of homework. I'm going to look up some world record crying just to see if it's a thing.
Perfect.
All right, well, with that, we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
And we'll go for the world record next week.
Not next week, but it's on the cards. Maybe soon.